Hello and welcome to another Orion Tech Tips video. In today's video, we will be discussing the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and I will try to do another one with the standard Note 20, but that is a different phone for a different video. So for the display, this is a 6.9-inch display. It's actually the exact same as the S20 Ultra. And definitely not the biggest fan of that phone, especially the display. You're spending, for that phone it was $1,400, for this phone it is $1,300. So they are both very, very expensive phones. This is USD, so if you live in Canada like myself, you'll have to spend even more for this phone. And so it's 120 Hz 1080p or 60 Hz 1440p, which is just crazy. If I'm spending literally, I could build a crazy fast gaming and streaming computer for that price that could outperform this phone easily. So for $1,400 or $1,300, I want a 1440p 144 Hz screen ideally, but you don't get that. So 1080p 120 Hz or 1440p 60 Hz. That was my biggest complaint with the the S20 Ultra, and it's still my complaint with this phone because they didn't fix that. It's 208 grams, so pretty standard, but it's still definitely not light for a phone. It's not like heavy, so it's fine. It has a front-facing 10 megapixel camera, a ultra-wide camera, a rear ultra-wide 12 megapixel, a rear telephoto camera 12 megapixels, and a rear main camera 108 megapixels. And of course the standard Note 20 does not have that. So that's one of the 108 megapixel is the Ultra, one of the Ultra's features. For the processor, this is the Snapdragon 865 Plus, and it has 12 gigabytes of RAM. So it doesn't have, again, it doesn't really it has like the same chipset. So again, it's $1,400 or $1,300 US, and you're just getting the same chip as any other phone. And granted, it is a very fast chip, but I just expect if you're spending like more for a phone, you should get a better processor. Like, it would only make sense. But no, they're still using the 865 Plus. For RAM, they're using 12 gigabytes, and then it's for the storage, it's either 128 gigabytes or 512 gigabytes, and it is expandable through micro SD. I don't really know how many people use micro SD. I certainly don't, just because it's so slow. I mean, I take that back. I don't use it for my phone. My phone doesn't even support it. I do use it for my Switch, because my Switch has such a tiny storage capacity. So I do have a 256 gigabyte micro SD, which is actually very nice. So yeah, you can, if you're into that, just keep in mind it will be slower than the main storage. For the battery, it is a 4500 milliamp hour battery. So definitely, I know the S20 was it's $100 more, but I mean, if you're spending $1,300, you can spend $1,400. Again, those prices are they're both expensive, I'll just say that. The S20 Ultra has a 5000 milliamp hour battery, which I wish this phone had a maybe even a 5500 or a 6000 milliamp hour battery. But no, unfortunately it does not. So the S20 Ultra will definitely outlast this phone in terms of battery. Of course, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, fast charging. It has a fast charger included in the box. $1,300 though, so it has to. So, okay, my opinion, should you buy this phone or should you not? And honestly, if you can, this is a really good phone. It really is. I mean, the screen, kind of, 120 hertz is nice, but again, only at 1080p. Kind of a shame it's not 1440p. I really wish it was. But these days, I guess phones are just getting so expensive. I think it's worth it? I mean, if you have $1,300 and you're like, is this a good phone? I want to buy it. I would say yes, absolutely buy it. It's a really good phone. However, value-wise, I would have to say no. It doesn't really give a lot of value as I guess a phone. I would say you could just go down to like an S20 Plus or an S10 Plus for less money, but of course you are missing out on some features like the S Pen, which I know okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see so many people, I guess, saying, oh, so many people use the S Pen for work and all this other stuff, but no, I've never seen anyone really use the S Pen at all. And if they need a stylus, they just use the stylus for their iPad Pro or their laptop. I mean, it really just makes no sense. Like, they'd use it on their iPad or their tablet, but why would they need a stylus on such a tiny screen? It just doesn't make sense. And I know someone might say, well, the Note screen is not tiny, but it's still a phone. Compared to other phones, okay, maybe it's not tiny, but compared to like an iPad or a laptop or a monitor, it is very tiny. Compared to this 24-inch monitor, which I actually had a friend come over last night, and he said my monitors are tiny. I have two 24-inch monitors. He said they're small. So if I had the phone, yeah, phone's even smaller. So anyway, I would really say the stylus really doesn't even come to the equation for me. So, final thoughts. Yes, I definitely think if you are considering this phone and you have $1,300 in your pocket, yes, go ahead, buy it. But again, it's just so hard to justify that price point of $1,300. And yes, that phone, it will probably come down in price. I am aware of that for sure. But yeah, $1,300 for a phone. You could get like a RTX 2070 PC build, an RTX 2060 Super PC build with $1,400, which definitely could outperform this phone easy. And in terms of power, all we're getting is a Snapdragon 865 Plus. That's it. I mean, okay. If you're wondering value-wise, what can this phone do to justify its $1,300 price tag, I would say a 1440p or maybe even a 4K. 4K 144 hertz would be nice, or even 1440p 240 hertz. Either one of the two, 4K 144 hertz or 1440p 240 hertz, and then get like a way better chipset to compete with like an RTX graphics card. Add more RAM, so maybe at least 16, maybe even like 32 gigabytes of RAM, and then have like a 6,000, or even if it has like a 7,000 milliamp hour battery, it would beat the ROG phone too. And I mean, the cameras, they're still good, so just keep the cameras. And I mean, yeah, so it's really just the screen and the chipset, or the graphics power, that needs to improve. And I guess the RAM would be 16 to 32 gigabytes would be nice. But yeah, anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, like this video, would you drop a comment, share it with a friend, do that, and subscribe to my channel. Alright, peace out.